I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest motherfucker because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning is gone.
In the late 1980s, there were only a few record labels who were more successful than Uptown Records. With artists like Mary J. Blige, I'll Be Sure, and Jodeci, Uptown Records was one of the labels that played a major role in shaping R&B. And with names like Heavy D and Biggie, Uptown was also a leader in hip-hop. In fact, Heavy D was one of the people that started Uptown Records. Heavy D, alongside Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Kim Porter, and of course Diddy, aka Brother Love, began Uptown Records.
I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she...
Today, Diddy is known as the billionaire and mogul, but during this period when Uptown Records just began, Diddy was also an unknown name. In fact, he wasn't even known as Diddy. He wasn't even known as Puffy or Puff Daddy when Uptown Records just began. He was just good old Sean John Combs. He was the skinny 16-year-old who got his start by being a dancer. Diddy got picked by directors to appear in music videos, and this was how he got his start in the industry.
Around the age of 16, 17, I started dancing, going to the various clubs, and that was during the time when somebody, a big artist like Diana Ross, Fine Young Cannibals, or even Michael Jackson had a video, the directors would come into the clubs and see all the kids that were dancing and pick various dancers to be in the video. So I got picked to be in some of those videos.
After appearing in a couple of music videos, Diddy realized he wanted a career in music. However, unlike most people, he didn't just want to be a rapper or just another artist. He wanted to be the guy calling the shots.
I saw the people behind the scenes and I was like, that's maybe something that I wanted to do. So I started asking questions and getting information on the music industries. I know music, my eye besides just looking at the rap and saying, okay, one day I want to be Heavy D, one day I want to be LL Cool J. I was kind of looking at okay, one day I want to be like Russell Simmons, or I want to be like Berry Gordy or Quincy Jones.
You want to be beyond just an artist, you want to be the person in control.
Yes.
Diddy knew he wanted to work in music, but at the same time, he was also a business major at Howard University. Brother Love stated that he was willing to do whatever it took to help him get into the music business. He began asking around and telling record labels that he was willing to intern for free.
As I had sort of behind the scenes, I had asked around, and then I was just like, I just want to do whatever I have to do to learn. So I started going to people saying I just wanted to intern for them. First I went to Rush, and they didn't really have no room. That's Russell Simmons.
Luckily for Diddy, he was friends with Heavy D. Heavy D eventually convinced Andre Harrell to hire Diddy for Uptown Records as an intern.
And then finally, a friend of mine, Heavy D, was on a label called Uptown Records with the owner of that was Andre Harrell. And so he hooked up a meeting with me and Andre Harrell, and I just basically asked if I was told him I'd do anything, I'd work for free.
Uptown Records was the house that Andre Harrell built. Andre was the man who gave Diddy his shot by hiring him and allowing him to intern in the A&R department.
And I was in the A&R department. That stands for Artists and Repertoire. We put the records together, pick the producers, sit down and shape the vision with the artists. And I was underneath the director of A&R. He left.
However, there was a problem. Diddy stated that he had to find a way to juggle his studies and his job at Uptown Records.
But the catch was that I was in school. I was in college at Howard University in DC, and they said that I could work for 2 days, Thursday and Friday. So I had to take the train. I had to leave school. So I played hooky from school, and I was taking the train, leaving, getting up at like 6 in the morning, taking the train so I could be to work in New York. It was all a lot of fun. The only problem was sometimes I didn't have no money, so I was like hiding in the bathroom all 4 hours so the train conductor wouldn't catch me, you know what I'm saying?
After some time, Diddy dropped out of Howard University. After his sophomore year, he decided to focus on the music business alone, and Diddy was very good at his job. Everyone knew that even though he was barely an adult, he had an eye for spotting talent, and he was a very good producer. Diddy doesn't play any instrument. He never even went to school for music production. He just knew how a song should sound and how to give an artist direction. Diddy interned at Uptown Records and worked under the director of the A&R department. And after the A&R director left, Diddy saw an opportunity. He was just 18 years old at the time, but he knew he was ready to take on such a huge role. He took Andre Harrell to lunch and pitched to him that he would like to be the head of the company's A&R. Diddy became a record label exec at just 18 years old.
I was underneath the director of A&R. He left, and Andre Harrell, who's the owner of Uptown, where I was interning at, was about to choose a new A&R director. So I took him out to lunch, and I was like, let me give it a chance. And I knew he was making music for a young lifestyle. And so I sat down with him at lunch. I was 18. I was like, basically, there's nobody better to make the music for the young lifestyle but me, because I'm part of that lifestyle. Why don't you just give me a chance, a probationary period? So he gave me a chance.
Diddy was the youngest record label executive in all of Hollywood at the time.
And I was 18 then, so I was like, you know, like one of the youngest executives out. And then he had got a lot of flack because he was the first one to really start putting young people in a power position in the music industry. So he got a lot of flack because most of the A&R people back then was like 25, 26, or even 30.
However, Diddy proved that once you are good enough, you are old enough. Diddy was very successful as the director of A&R. His decisions proved to be correct, as artists such as Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, and Father MC sold millions of records.
So he gave me a chance, and I started working with different rappers like Father MC, and then on his album I put Mary J. Blige and Jodeci on the album, and the singles that they sang on and rapped on had went gold, so that was good. That was like a good start. So then I had got promoted to director of A&R, and I was 18 then, so I was like, you know, like one of the youngest executives out. And then he had got a lot of flack because he was the first one to really start putting young people in a power position in the music industry. So he got a lot of flack because most of the A&R people back then was like 25, 26, or even 30.
However, just as power and influence was growing on the record label, he began having issues with his bosses. Diddy and Andre Harrell had several disagreements about what direction to take their artists. Diddy was very vocal about his ideas, and whenever he and Andre have different ideas, this will lead to a back and forth between the two of them. Diddy used to get quite pissed whenever he didn't get his way.
I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
In fact, Diddy's reactions and anger is what earned him the name Puffy.
I had heard he got the name Puffy because he would get so angry when like he wouldn't get his way when it comes to certain musical decisions or whatever, that he would just get all puffed up.
Yeah.
And they started just calling him Puffy as a joke.
Yeah, Puff Daddy. Yeah.
And it stuck.
Yeah.
Would you see these kind of back and forths between Puffy and Andre?
You know what? In the hallway, it was kind of playful, but
Diddy was eventually fired from Uptown Records, and then he started his own label, Bad Boy Records. Now, there are even theories on why Diddy was fired. Andre Harrell explained that he fired him because he believed Diddy was ready to start his own label.
So I told Puff he needs to go and create his own opportunity. You red hot. I'm really letting you go so you can get rich.
However, some sources state that Diddy was fired because he had a fight with some of the label's top executives.
The man. No, I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. No, let me tell you exactly what happened. And Puffy cussed some motherfucking top Jewish executives. The fuck you watch him? Why? Goddamn Puffy went in the motherfucking meeting up there. the corporate meeting up there at MCA earlier this morning and cussed every motherfucking top executive out. And they told us he has no deal on this label.
Diddy took Biggie and Craig Mack with him when he left Uptown Records. He started Bad Boy with these two artists. However, according to Jaguar Wright, these two rappers aren't the only thing Diddy took from Uptown Records. Of all the people who started Uptown Records, Diddy is the only one who is not dead or facing any health problems.
I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy, and Kim.
Jaguar Wright states that all of these people died under suspicious circumstances. Now pay attention, because there are some bizarre similarities between the deaths of former Uptown Records employees.
Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died.
Heavy D was the first who passed away on November 8, 2011. The official reports state that he collapsed outside of his home and was rushed to the hospital. Heavy D's death was first thought to be connected to pneumonia. However, it was later ruled that he died from the equivalent of a heart attack.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack.
After Heavy D passed away in 2011, Kim Porter died on November 15, 2018. The official reports state that Kim passed away after experiencing flu-like symptoms for days, and 2 months later, the coroner's office stated that her death was caused by pneumonia. Just like Heavy D, Kim Porter's death was reportedly connected to pneumonia. The next Uptown Record member that died was the founder himself, Andre Harrell. And just like Heavy D, Andre Harrell's death was said to be caused by a heart attack. However, according to Jaguar Wright, Andre, Kim Porter, and Heavy D might not have died from illnesses. Instead, there might have been some foul play connected to their deaths. Jaguar stated that what makes their deaths quite suspicious is that they were all writing tell-all books that might have exposed Diddy before they died.
You want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she.
The other Uptown Record founding member, Al B. Sure, also went into a coma when he started making his documentary.
And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened?
Jaguar Wright then stated that there are poisons that create both heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
Now, if you remember, the official reports state that Kim Porter, Andre Harrell, and Heavy D all passed away from heart attacks or pneumonia. So fam, can you see the connecting dots here? In fact, Kim Porter's death seems to be shrouded in more controversy. This is perhaps because no one knew Brother Love like Kim Porter did.
You understand? Kim know all his deepest secrets. You understand? Kim knew why he was using the butt plugs. Man, Kim probably told all that shit in her book.
Now, in the initial report, Kim's cause of death was listed as deferred, which means that her cause of death could not be determined at the time. The first coroner stated that there were toxins found in her system, and her death was listed as a homicide.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that
Kim's death was also the reason that Andre Harrell and Diddy became enemies. Andre and Kim Porter were very close friends. Andre was helping Kim write her book, and after she died, he knew about the toxins that were found in her blood. Andre allegedly confronted Diddy about Kim's death, and some sources speculate that this is why he was killed. And Andre wasn't the only one who suspected that Kim was allegedly killed. After Kim passed away, her ex-husband Al B. Sure also posted a cryptic message stating that Kim didn't die from pneumonia and that it was all BS. Al B. Sure is the only living founding member of Uptown Records, and even he went into a coma and is just recovering from that after fighting for his life. Now, none of this is confirmed, and you can choose to believe what you want, but with all the allegations against Diddy recently...
Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest motherfucker, because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning is gone. Just him. I guess Al disappointed you. There's too many coincidences.